Good morning, Internet, and welcome back to the reading of the Master List of Logical Fallacies with Alan Mueller, Bryce Barnett, Sarah Leff. And today we're covering the best fallacy. It's the Hitler one. It is the Reductio ad Hitlerum. And yes, YouTube Hitler is bad. Don't get me with that. That's the context. Okay. So, a highly problematic contemporary historical revisionist contention that the argument that just what Hitler said, or would have said, or would have done is a fallacy. An instance of the ad, yeah, is that, yeah, instant? Yeah, instance. An instance of the ad hominem argument and or guilt by association. Whether the reductio ad Hitlerum again can be considered an actual fallacy or not seems to be fundamentally depend on one's personal view of Hitler and the gravity of his crimes. So another example is you can't breathe air because Hitler breathed air, and you can't be like Hitler, so you're wrong.
I've never heard that.
For me, this feels like it feels like a Harry Potter spell, you know, is how I'm experiencing it.
It turns people into Hitler.
Reductio
Reductio ad
ad
Hitlerum.
Hitlerum.
Yep.
This is like it for me. It's like in Wicked when Elphaba's reading the Grimoire. I'm picturing this being like one of the spells in the Grimoire that she's trying to
Uh,
read.
It just makes somebody super strict.
Yeah.
That's the spell.
super.
Uh, it
Uh-oh.
Mm.
doesn't have to be as silly as yeah, I mean it's I have seen this used not jokingly. And I feel like that's why it's saying like depending on like your personal like how offended you are by Hitler and the Holocaust and everything, this one could be very powerful to you. Whereas for
Mm.
me, Hitler is it's grouped in with like 9/11 and like other terrible things that it's so awful that it reaches a level of um the extent of how awful it is hilarious compared to like everyday normal mundane things that it's now just a meme for me. So that is that's it for me. But I have seen people definitely have used this. I'm trying to think if I've done it like where it was invalid. Um Probably. I don't think I called Mitt Romney this, but I think I said something like um and this is totally not okay for me to done back in 2012. Um I was a kid then. Um but I was like, yeah, Mitt Romney is religious, and for that reason, um so was Hitler, so therefore like how do we know that he's not gonna do this whole Holocaust thing? And yeah, that was me going way too far with that one. I think that's where I've used it mistakenly. No, it was on purpose. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad, and I should feel bad. Um,
Shouldn't feel bad. There's no need to
I
feel
know.
bad.
I That is a meme. I'm joking. I shouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah. I've forgiven myself. I won't do it anymore. Um. Okay. Yeah. Have anybody else in here done this one? Um. Where you feel like you probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, I think there was it was during I did this uh and I really subscribe to this being a fallacy in the sense that I think the whole thing is that if one presupposes that this is a sufficient argument of sorts, that's what makes it a fallacy. Because it's like there was this On Real Time with Bill Maher. There was a show that he did right after Trump was elected the second time. His opening line on the show after he did his monologue, he sat down with a panel of a bunch of other people, and then obviously the country was having the reaction that it was having to him being elected. And so him being a talk show host, it was important for him to give his opinion on it. And the first thing he said, or it was one of the first things he said, was it's almost like the Democratic Party was surprised that, or it was like they were thinking that if they had just called him Hitler enough times, then they would have won. And the point that he was making in that, and he's a liberal, left-leaning talk show host. And so, but his argument there was that the attempt of his position was that the um, the strategy that the Democrats were using was not effective, and that by calling Trump Hitler over and over and over again, it proved to be ineffective as a strategy. And so, to me, I think that it's a really solid call out of a fallacy because I think that regardless if what's happening in the US or what Trump does, or what the administration does, I think regardless if it is like what Hitler did or not, I think to point and say that's what Hitler did or that this is just like Hitler, I think it actually is very much not supportive at all rather than to say this is what's being done, this is morally wrong, and leaning on the current facts of what's happening, because it's proven both on the campaign trail as well as I think in current modern day arguments, just pointing at someone and saying that's like Hitler, it actually doesn't do anything. It's not actually an effective needle mover, in my opinion, other than to just get people pissed. So I think I really like this as a fallacy inside of this list just based off of past evidence, it does not seem that the pointing at anyone and saying they're like Hitler has actually helped anyone or anything. It's actually seems like it makes the situation worse, actually. So I love
Yeah,
that
it's almost like it's a rose, it's a rose, it's a rose, and
yeah,
it's kind of just lost its meaning.
yeah. It's like, I think it's actually more effective to say this is what the person is doing and this is wrong. And here's the stack of things they're doing that is wrong versus to say, see, it's like Hitler. Because, even in our day and age, the amount of people who were alive to remember even what that time was like and what Hitler was actually like, it's such an insignificant number that even if there was an accurate connection that could be made, people are not emotionally as connected to that time of human history as they are to their current life events. So it's like if I were to say, "Oh my God, it's just like Genghis Khan," no one for a lot of people that doesn't mean anything anymore. And so it's like I think what I'm saying is I'm really happy it's on the list because for me, the interest is always change and positive change. And if people use energy into something that doesn't create change, then the tactic has to change. So I love this one, honestly, that it's on this list.
Awesome. I'm so glad.